So then the real question for you and for anyone watching or listening is, who do you want to see do a
Oh
battle?
yeah,
I've got a few
it
ones
would be a
here.
good. Yeah.
So we did a live on Instagram, just a test run last week for the podcast, and a few people came up with some good ones. So one question we had would be, and I keep seeing on Twitter, who would go against Drake? Which is
Jesus
the
Christ.
only person I can think of is Wayne, because even though
That
Wayne's
was
been
the talk. I
around,
was gonna say that was the thing that I saw on Instagram. There was only like viable,
yeah,
excuse me, beer burps.
it's all right.
The only viable verses for him because of all the platinum records, or whatever. But like, obviously Drake's gonna win because he's got those numbers and shit. But like, not really you have to get multiple people against Drake to win
Yeah,
because
Drake is a tough
just
one.
because of all of the awards. It's like,
Yes,
fuck, what are you gonna do, dude? Like,
he's gone too hard.
like who hasn't he got a song with as far as like a singer or a producer that you know what I mean? Like,
It's a
it's
good
just
point. I don't know if he's ever
that'd be
worked with
silly.
Timberland or anything, has he?
I
Maybe,
I didn't even think that would.
maybe.
Maybe I can't think
Yeah.
off the top of the dome. Maybe he probably wouldn't even do one. He doesn't even respond to certain battles.
Yeah,
Eh.
I feel like it's kind of hard. The biggest producer one, though, people were saying is Kanye versus Pharrell, which I think is the only
Ooh,
fair one for those two. There's nobody else that has been around it. Because basically with this, look at the parameters. You got to be like, well, they have to have been around about the same amount of time, and they have to be about the same level, right? Because it's almost like offensive if you're making somebody who's up here go against someone who's significantly less
also
successful.
other. Okay, word. Well, as far as like Neptune's, any co-producing group stuff, like, can you put those beats against Kanye? How do the rules work with that kind of shit? Like
Yeah.
Scott Storch and the Manny Fresh joint battle. Like Scott Storch has multiple co-producers with Dre.
Yep.
Manny Fresh is mainly solo.
Yep.
Scott Storch
Scott Jost was a
fucking crushed
keys
him in that one.
player on a lot of stuff, right? So he kind of
He's
got
a
away with,
yeah.
like, I wrote this line. Oh, here we go. Oh, perfect. The actual person who did this, asked the best questions during the live, Rochelle, she says, I like Drake's music, but I feel like he's too new. I'm really liking the throwbacks. And I think that's a really good point. The part of the throwbacks is, think about it like this. Drake has come up in social media age, so he's always been accessible to people. But someone like Timbaland or Teddy Riley or Babyface or even Badu, now she is, but back in the day she wasn't, or Jill Scott, they're not everywhere. All these people we like now are like omnipresent. Like, you can see them, you can hear what they have to say any time of the day. You check their tweets, see their stories, they're around. Whereas like dudes like Babyface before this, you don't know what the fuck he's saying.
When did you see? When did you see it? Yeah.
So it's like inherently
not out
more
there.
interesting. So I think that's a really good point. And so even though Kanye, when he does come out, you know he's coming out. But Pharrell doesn't really give many interviews. Kanye doesn't talk a lot. That would be a fascinating battle. The other ones here,
sure.
this one, I don't know, I guess you could still, one of the ones, I can't remember where this came from. Someone, I didn't come up with this, but someone said Mobb Deep versus MOP. Who said that?
Groups.
That was from the last thing. Someone, it could have been Rochelle, but someone said that somewhere, and I wrote it down. I thought that's a good one, because if you're going to do
They're
groups,
both New York groups. Yeah.
about the same amount of time, both duos, both
Same place. Yeah.
yeah, so that could be pretty good. I've got, these are all really not batched in good order here, but like Havoc versus Alchemist would be an interesting production battle.
That'd be insane.
I think Alchemist would take it because Alchemist has done more variety of stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Facts. Yeah. Yeah.
Havoc is probably a bit more of a one-trick pony, but he's very good at that one trick. Now the other one, I think Theo, shouts to Thriz. Thriz suggested posthumous one, Big L versus Big Pun. I thought that was a sick one.
That would be insane.
And it'd
Battle
be
of
cool
the
to
technical,
have like their family play it or something, like their partner or whatever, brother, sister, kid. Like Chris Rivers doing Pun, and if Big L
I was
had
gonna
a
say
kid or
his
something.
son. Yeah. Yep. That would be insane, dude.
I think that would be a real good one, because for the same reason, Rochelle, it'd be like actually sick if you saw Big Pun's son, who is around, but just to see him play his dad's music and show, maybe he'd have a story, be like, I remember when I was 3 and dad was playing this, and I remember him coming back from the studio. You know, he might have a sick little
That would be
story about it
crazy.
and shit.
That would be crazy.
I
Yeah.
think that would be lit. What else do I have here? So the other one, and this is the thing that the ladies aren't getting enough attention. So some of the ones I have here on Rochelle's point, Usher, he's a real tough one. Sorry, I said ladies. Sorry, I meant R&B, and then the next three I've got ladies. So Usher was one of the main R&B. The fucking one we want now is Maxwell versus D'Angelo. That's what I want to see now.
Oh, dude, that'd be That's as crazy as the Jill and Erica joint. That would
as crazy. Yeah, that's god level.
Internet would be
broken.
That's crazy.
I feel like it would be more broken for the exact reason Rochelle just said. Neither of those two. Maxwell's out here a little bit, but D'Angelo's a fucking hermit, man. Like, you're gonna want to.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, that would just be a phenomenal one because, you know, like we were saying earlier, Brown Sugar essentially started neo soul, arguably. So that would be very, very cool to see those two go up against each other. Pause. But Usher would be a good one to. We still, even we mentioned this during the live, like the Instagram live, and we couldn't come up with somebody who could go against Usher. Mary J. Blige. Tiff says D'Angelo ain't giving anyone the luxury of his presence, and I think she's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
What about JT against Usher? Did I mention that to you off air at some point? Did I like throw that in the basket? Like,
I think
was he like is he too far away as far as the start of the career of like what would you even? Would you even do that?
Because like when was NSYNC? When did NSYNC come out? 97, 98 probably.
Yeah.
And when did JT go solo? Like 2002 or some shit. When Usher's second album was 94. I don't know which is My Way, which is one of the best R&B albums of all time, and I don't know.
That's fine.
I don't know. I know he had one before that, which didn't do. Wasn't as big.
Okay, so there's a few years. All right.
That's a 10-year gap, pretty much.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's so hard. It's like JT. There's got to be someone JT could go
But do they have to be in the same time frame?
I think so.
Can
because
they have the same length of career, right?
No, think about it.
Decades
yeah, because I think it matters. Because imagine if you were like, I don't know, someone in the crunk era going someone in the smooth, like the '90s grimy. You can't.
Yeah.
It's just,
okay. Fair enough.
It doesn't match.
You got to compare apples to apples.
Yeah, exactly. And even like a good example, I talk about Deezus and Mero. They're my favorite comedians and hosts and podcasters right now. So Mero was saying French Montana was yapping his fucking gums, saying he has a better catalog than Kendrick Lamar. And Mero,
come on, sunshine.
He reckons hit for hit.
Come on, mate.
He has had a bunch of hits, but I always say to Tiff, I can't stand French because he's a lazy motherfucker. He'll drop a single which is by him featuring like Chris Brown, Amigos, and blah blah blah, and he does 8 bars, and the whole rest of the song is somebody else, but it's his joint. I hate that. Like that's so fucking lazy. I can't stand that shit. But if it was one song,
that's all he's got.
Cool.
That's all he has. He's only got 8 bars, dude.
And then everyone else, anyway, it's lazy to me. So, like, don't talk out the side of your neck like that, fam. But Mero was like,
Neckers.
He's from New York. He's like French any day. And I'm like, what? He's like, bro, I will die on this hill because he goes, it's a cultural thing. It's a regional thing. Like Kendrick, he goes, I don't listen to Kendrick. I don't want to listen to Kendrick. If French comes on, I'm like, yeah, because French does have other good music I've heard. So,
no.
So like, it's also, it has to be from a same sort of era. Region, because you can't. That's why Manny Fresh versus Scott Schultz was a very poor matchup because, like,
poor choice. Yeah,
regionally,
they up on like Ebro and that.
Yeah,
anyway.
in the South, like no one's competing against Manny Fresh. But then Scott Storch was like a keys player. Is he really a producer though? I don't know personally if he did.
He's a musical genius, and he just like got thrown into the studio with like dope people. I mean, the Roots, but he's just like a cool genius.
But it definitely
it's hard to pick those. Yeah, you're right. It's hard to pick those.
So Rochelle says the youngins don't know about them. I think we were talking about Maxwell and D'Angelo.
Mans don't know.
They don't know. But
don't know.
Maybe they will because more people knew about Erica and Jill than I thought. I didn't think there would be nearly 1 million people in that one. But when there was 2 million in fucking 6ix9ine's live the day before. So
don't even. Is that a segue, dude?
No, I'm not talking about.
Before we talk about that little dinkle, I'm gonna go tinkle. Is that cool?
Yeah, I'll keep reading. I got a couple comments. I'll keep yapping.
All right, one sec, mate. Sorry.
So Tiff says no one has a catalog as deep in the R&B or pop category as Usher, and I think that's a really, really good point. And Tiff said she says JT versus Usher in the life. I will remind Brad shortly, but that is a thing right there. Like no one does have that in R&B and pop, and that's what we've got to specifically put down. Which is why JT is R&B pop. So technically it could be, but he wasn't around in the 90s doing that music. He was doing straight pop, and then when he went solo, he was doing his other shit. So I just think Usher has no contemporaries who's been around that long in the same lane. I'd like to hear more examples, but I can't think of any. Mary is another problem as well, because Mary's been around. Her first album was 91, and she's basically still been dropping albums to this day. To this day! I need that fucking... what's it called? So Mary's I don't know who would go against Mary. I couldn't even think about who could go against Mary too, because she's been around for so long. She's the queen of hip hop soul, so she does a style of music that most people aren't doing, male or female as well. And she's kept that consistent for 20, 30 years. So like it's hard for Mary to really go against anybody. But one I have written down that is good is that I think is fair, is potentially fair. Still a little off, but closer than anything, is Rihanna versus Beyonce. Neither of them would grace us with their presence, but I think it could be a real good one. Just to catch you up there, Nosh.
Yes, mate.
Tiff says, no one has a catalogue as deep in the R&B or pop category as Usher, and she was the one who said JT versus Usher in the last live.
Oh.
So I was just saying that I don't think anyone can go against them. The Usher doesn't have any contemporaries. I'd like to hear some suggestions, but I can't think of any. Mary J. Blige, I also can't think of anyone who could go against her.
Jeez.
And then the newest one I was thinking, Beyonce versus Rihanna. Can you talk about that? What, I take a piss?
Go
Tell
for
me
it.
your thoughts.
Beyonce versus Rihanna. Yeah. Jesus. All right, cool.
What's your thoughts on that?
I'd have to say Beyonce, I guess. She's got a larger catalogue. I don't know a huge amount of Rihanna stuff unless I heard it. I don't know any names of shit. But it's definitely, yeah, that'd be sick because that would break the internet for sure. That would get more than Tekashi's weak ass. So I think the Beehive would just sting everybody. That would be absolutely crazy. That'd be something to look forward to. So, you know, what do you guys reckon? What do you guys reckon out there? Who's going to be the fire? I don't even know, really. Who else have we got on this list, mate? There he is. That was the quickest tinkle of life.
I was like going hard. Didn't want to fuck around.
I like it.
Do you think they could go?
They could. They'd break the internet more than everybody else has. That would be the biggest one. I just don't know any names of Rihanna songs, to be honest, because I don't listen to her.
No, because she's more in the pop
didn't go too well there while you were gone.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, right.
But it was more just like, I think for the culture, I see like, I don't mind some. I only know him a bit more because Tiff likes Rihanna, so she played a lot of her stuff. I said in the last live, I wasn't a fan of Beyonce's pop era. I loved Destiny's Child, and I loved her last two albums. I think her last two, Lemonade and the other one, were both sick. And was it self-titled? I can't remember. But then there was like 4 albums of like pop R&B that I didn't enjoy. But these last two, I was like, all right, sick. It's back to kind of like there's some fire in her or whatever. So I feel like I don't think anyone is more worshipped than those two women in the game. Yeah, so I feel like they could be a good one. It'd be fun on coming back to sort of what Rochelle said. It would be fun to do a throwback and do Kim versus Foxy. That'd be good.
Ooh.
Kim versus Foxy would be fun, actually. Imagine that one.
There's a lot of artists that I'd like to see, like, you know, you'd like, but they wouldn't come out. Like Kendrick wouldn't come out. Jay-Z and Nas wouldn't come out. Like, you wouldn't get those big dogs like that.
Jay and Nas would be.
They're the only ones that I would kind of suggest is to want to see. But you get Nelly and Luda because they're not super mega billionaire. I mean, they're also fucking large artists. But like, I know there's a certain stature where certain dudes won't come out. Like, I don't think you wouldn't see a Jay and Nas one, would you?
I don't reckon. I think you're right. I think they're going to be like, I don't know, Jay's a billionaire. Nas is probably close because of his venture capitalist stuff. So they're probably just like, yeah, I don't need to do any of this stuff. And I get it completely. Like, yeah, it would be sick for the culture.